Okay. Hello.
Lovely people.
Did I do it right? Are you watching? But first, can I rehearse it, please?
Hello.
Wait, once. Hello.
Lovely people.
Nope. Messed it up.
Down and then across, because that's people who have stubble on their chin and people who don't.
Okay, I'm gonna write it down.
Hello, lovely people. Right, everyone, this is the lovely Annie, who I am absolutely delighted that I get to meet in person.
Yay!
One of my favourite people on the internet.
You're my favorite person on the internet. We're so cute. I love it.
So, tell the people what you do.
Alrighty, so I have a channel called Elainey, and on it I do similar to you, I guess, where I talk to you all about disability stuff and basically share my life with you all.
Delightful. Today we are going to talk about, since we are both lovely disabled people, what it's like trying to have a positive body image when you have disabilities, which can be complex. Very, very complex. We're currently at VidCon, if you're wondering why I'm with an American. You just did a panel about body image, gender.
Yeah. Body image, gender, presentation, video.
And one of the things that you talked about was the hashtag love my disability.
Yeah, I love my disability.
Which to some people can seem like a very strange concept. How could you love a disability? How could you love something that's so terrible and awful? And yes, having a disability isn't necessarily the greatest thing in the world.
No.
But also this is the body that I am in. I feel very powerfully about my body that I must make a conscious decision to always love it, no matter what. And my body, due to my disabilities, we both have connective tissue disorders and I also have a nerve condition as well. My body has changed a lot. It went through a period where I was really, really thin. I was 88 pounds, 6 stone. I'm 5'9", and I was incredibly thin. And one of the things that people kept telling me, they kept reminding me, was that I looked terrible. And nobody believed that I could have a positive body image. They thought that it was a terrible thing for me to say, no, I love my body. And I did, and I bought dresses that fitted me. I got some new stuff that had the same style. It went in at the waist and it had a big skirt. But now my waist was tiny and I had to buy children's clothes. Daily, from my family, from wider family, from friends, from strangers, they felt they had to remind me that my body was horrible. But you don't like it, do you? But you don't like it. I mean, because you're too thin and it's too sticky out here and... No, screw you. This is my body. I love it. I don't care what you think.
How did you come about that? How did you, because like that was a huge journey for me to like find body peace that way. So like, I'm assuming it was probably like eating disorder recovery, I'm assuming? Like,
no, I don't have an eating disorder.
No? Because that was what it was for me. That's why I made the assumption. We both have connective tissue disorders, but when I was from age 12 to 21, had non-disability related like eating disorder, body dysmorphic disorder. And body dysmorphic disorder is when you look in the mirror and you see something that isn't there, like a hallucination.
Yeah.
So I would look in the mirror and see like a monster. I would see something like 600-pound, like rhinoceros, a thing. My brain, my mental illness told me like everybody who looked at me was nauseous at the sight of me.
They were seeing what you saw in the mirror.
Yeah, and that everyone that I passed inside their heads were thinking, she doesn't deserve to be here. I wish she wasn't here. I don't want to see her. I'm gonna vomit. And so it very much made me feel like I was not deserving of taking up space. I was not deserving of existing. I was not deserving of being seen. But long story short there, it wasn't until I was 21 and someone was like, are you okay? Something's wrong with your brain. So when I got confronted for the first time about possibly being mentally ill, that's when I decided to really proactively do self-therapy and recover. And this happened before I started losing abilities. So through recovery process, I found this euphoria of like, I'm here, I'm alive, and I deserve to love myself. I deserve to love my body no matter what state it's in.
Yeah.
So that's what I found through that. I found, you know what? Body, I love you, and no matter what you do, and no matter what you look like, and no matter what you experience or go through, I'm gonna love you anyway. And so then when finally losing abilities came along, I had that foundation.
I have a similar thing in a way, but having from a very young age, I wasn't diagnosed until I was 17, even though I had masses of symptoms my whole life. Like, I wasn't born right. Let's be honest. They told my mother in the hospital I was not okay. They didn't know what was wrong with me, but I was just not okay. My grandfather was a doctor. He looked at me and he was like, something wrong with that baby? My mother was like, yeah. So everyone keeps saying. And so I knew my whole life, like, there is something not okay with my body. But what I was being told from the outside, from my teachers and so on, was that I wasn't doing enough. I wasn't trying hard enough. I wasn't good enough. I think also because I've always been I've never struggled with a mental health issue. Mm-hmm. So I guess the stuff that works for me doesn't work for other people necessarily. Mm-hmm. But for me, having been told that over and over and over, mentally made me stronger. Because I was like, well, screw you all. You're gonna see. And so when they were like, oh, you know, she's not going to do well in these sats, is she? I was like, well, I'm going to ace them now.
Oh my God.
And when they told me...
That's innate. That's what's in you, like, all along.
And when we went on these, like, family hikes, and I was like, okay. I mean, I struggled to walk, like, 100 meters, but all right. And I'd be, like, 7 at the back, dragging myself along. And I was like, you know what, body? Good on you. Good job. You've made it this far. I knew that my body was putting in 100% effort all the time. Always here, always trying. I knew that I was always trying, no matter what anyone else said to me. And then even when I got ill, and they were very much like, oh, you don't need to take your A-levels anymore. It doesn't matter. Like, what? Because my life has stopped. What do you think's going to happen? I have to continue past this point. After spending 2 years in a dark room, because I couldn't sit up without vomiting or passing out, and I couldn't have light, sound, or touch because it gave me immense pain. I was like, you know what? I'm going to take my A-levels. God damn it. So I lay in a dark room dictating, and a lady wrote down my exam results. And everyone told me I couldn't do it. You know what? I got 100%.
So it's just defiance. My positive body image is because you said I can't, so I'm gonna prove to you that I will.
You said I can't love this, so I will goddamn love it. And every morning when I get dressed, I have to get dressed in front of a mirror. I can't feel most of my body, so like if I'm putting on tights or something, I have to be in front of a full-length mirror so I can see them going up my legs and see what I'm doing. And every morning I look at myself in the mirror, and I pick what I think looks really great today, and I just stare at it for a while.
Yeah.
No, it's terrible. Like, I go to the loo, and I go, okay, get ready. And then I'm like, nice shoulders today, Jessica. Looking good. And it's like a daily affirmation.
Yeah, positive affirmation.
Whenever I am in front of a mirror, I look at myself, I find the part of myself that I like the most in this moment, whether that is my hair, or my nose, or just that I look great in this dress, and I look at it and I go...
That's a good point of like what people should be practicing to try and like start like really, what's the word I used to use? Retraining your brain. Because I think disability by default has a lot of people immediately hating their bodies.
Yes.
Which, if you hate your body, you have the right to, but I always think that it's just better for oneself to like try and like, you know, evolve from that place, because I don't think that hate is a healthy feeling for like anybody to feel, especially in regards to themselves. So one of the ways to combat it is to practice loving yourself, practice looking at yourself in the mirror, and even if you have to fake it, like, and even if you're lying to yourself,
even if
just give yourself a compliment. Just
the days when I look awful.
I
look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, you look horrific, but that is a great eye colour. I mean, that's beautiful, Jessica. What You're blessed. And I think it is the outside world comes and they tell us, you should want to look like this. You should want to have this body. You should want to be this weight. You should want to have that hair colour. Blah, 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 blah. You should feel bad about your disability. You should feel bad about the way your body looks. And I'm just like, no thanks. I don't really want to.
Doesn't sound very fun.
Yeah.
To hate myself, but thanks for the advice. Right.
But then if we want to talk about like bad hair days, that cuts me up. It does.
I mean, I have like dysphoria with like a bunch of different parts of my body, and I think like there's that intersection of like gender and
which we
disability
talked about
one more
in
time.
Elainey's video.
Yes,
Link in the
gender
description.
stuff. So I'll have problems with like my hips and like all the bumps of my body. I will have problems with it sometimes, and it depends on the day. Some days I'm like, okay, I can work this, Beyonce it up, and then a lot of the times. Just no, a lot of times it just does make me feel very uncomfortable, and it doesn't feel like, I feel like I'm living in a body that doesn't represent what's inside. I have to just work through it. I have to figure out a way to continue going on with my day, because it can get so bad, like anxiety, mental illness, that you're like, I don't want anybody to see me. I just want to stay alone and not move on with my life and not go on with my day. That's when, you know, you have to kind of be your own parent. You have to be your own partner. You have to, if you got to think of yourself like, if you were not you, if you saw your friend thinking the way you think about yourself, what would you say to them? And it would be encouraging. It would be supportive. You got to be able to treat yourself like you're in a relationship with yourself,
Sometimes you have to step outside of your body. And I really feel very protective of my body. Like when I was really skinny and everyone was being so rude, I would take that, but I would almost like disassociate it from my body. And I'd be like, I'm not going to let this mean comment filter through to the part of my brain that handles how I feel about my body. I'm just going to take it, I'm going to put it in a little box, and I'm going to put it on a shelf. And somewhere in my mind, there is like a little room full of boxes of horrific things people have said to me. And I'm just like, gonna lock that room and leave that be.
And never deal with it.
Don't need to go and deal with that. And I think that's fine.
Sounds like you got it under control. I trust you. It sounds like you have it on lockdown. Of like locking bad things away. I think you just literally let it let it fly off.
It's like time. They dissolve with time.
Okay. I hope it doesn't catch up with you. One day someone unlocks the box.
Oh wow, this is a positive note to end this on, isn't it? So thank you very much for watching this potentially rambling video about body image and disability. I hope that you connected with some of it, that you could kind of recognise where we were going with this. But I really want to know what your coping strategies are. What are the things that you do to make you feel great about yourself? Me, it's curling my hair and red lipstick.
Me, positive affirmations, wearing clothes that make me feel good, and practicing being proactive and continuing to live my life even if I don't feel entirely comfortable with my body at the time.
I'm gonna wear what makes me happy, no matter how much other people might be like, you look really weird today, Jessica. That's a bit of an odd. I mean, there are maybe too many bows on that. Is 8 bows too much? Is it? No. No, it's never too much. Hi Rachel! Good to see ya! You can follow her as well. I'm gonna put her channel down in the description. You can go leave us some comments like, hi Rachel! Also please, go and check out Annie and the video that we made for her channel, which had more of an LGBTQ+ slant. So goodbye my darlings. We shall see you next time.